Hey, you, it's Brad and Chaz. We're here tonight in my place.
Hey, guys, what's on your mind? We can't wait to talk about shit.
Yeah. We got crickets in here, Miranda too.
Hey, Miranda, say hello to them.
Hello to you.
Nice, Dave.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say? It's a musical episode of Nerd Shit in the Dark
In the
today.
dark.
No, we're just fucking with you.
Yep.
Good opening, man. That was good.
That was great. I think we nailed it.
I did. Sure did, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome. How's it going, everybody?
It's been a while. Well, not really.
Not
but
really.
It's actually been pretty good with the schedule recently.
In compared to, like, I think the gap between the last episode and the last episode before that was astronomical.
We're getting back to a more regular schedule.
Yeah. As regular as something like ours can be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You usually get one of the, like, okay, real podcasters, not that we're not, I mean,
Right.
we're real.
Anyone can be a podcaster.
Am I touching your arm right now?
Yeah, am I
okay,
touching your
you're
arm?
real, I'd say, and I'm
He
real.
is.
And yeah,
Yeah. We do like maybe once a month,
we're
twice
fun.
a month.
You never know when we're coming. We're
It's
like
a rare little nugget. It's a very underground operation here.
yeah, we're like a hunter chapter. Maybe not that bad.
This is
but
like our mixtape that we're sending around. That's pretty fire, but
yeah,
not a lot
we
of
give
people
this
are
to the
privy
girls
it.
that we're into, that kind of mix.
Yeah.
I love you. Listen to this.
Listen to us.
It'll express my feelings.
Yeah,
and
we'll
she
talk
does. Whoever listener, if you're using it on your significant other, she listens to you.
Yep.
Okay.
We hope she does.
Well, yeah. Nobody likes a woman that don't listen.
Right.
Alright, I'm just kidding.
Uh,
So, Braden,
Chase,
it's good to see you.
it's great seeing you.
No, I was just going to comment on how we were both standing up, but I had to sit down. But
Yeah.
I'll be up and down.
Yeah, I dig into that plate of
I
chicken
am
nuggets.
hungry, yep. So, sorry viewers, listeners, seers and doers. We are going to be eating a bit.
Yeah,
while we
it's
do
par
this.
for the course. They're used to it.
Yeah. Alright, well.
Well, we're gonna get into it then.
Braden? What have you been getting down to for new shit, nerd shit? What do you get down to, man?
So some new shit, Chase.
Yeah.
I've been really getting into some Pokemon Violet.
What?
Yeah.
Me too.
Wait, no way.
When did you get it?
I got it like a few days, like pretty much right after it released.
Oh my god, dude! I stayed up till midnight.
My
I played
gosh.
up in the- yeah.
I was at your house last night.
Mm-hmm.
You were playing Pokemon the entire time. So was I.
Oh my god, we were just sitting next to each other on our Switches.
And we didn't know we were
Too
playing
embarrassed
Pokemon.
to be adult men in their 30s and close to their 30s playing Pokemon, and we're so embarrassed by ourselves to each other that we didn't tell each other that we
I
were
don't
both
think we did.
playing Pokemon.
We did not tell each other that we were both
Fuck.
playing Pokemon Violet.
Insanity. Well, dude, here's a crazy off the top idea that we didn't discuss before this. Let's just make new shit, nerd shit. Us talking about Pokemon the whole time. We'll combine ours. That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, since we both have the same new nerd shit,
Yeah.
we'll just talk about Pokemon Violet.
Yeah. Strictly Violet. We
Strictly
don't know
Violet.
anything about Scarlet.
Neither of us got the Scarlet version. We know of like maybe 2 people who have it, and they live kind of far away. So
Yeah.
we're just making do with what we can.
But I bet you, based on the ending of Violet, that I could take a shot in the dark and probably nail exactly how Scarlet ends too.
yeah, I don't think they put a lot of effort into making them 2 distinct games.
No.
That much. Just kind of reskin things.
Just enough to keep up their shtick that they've had been going since 1996.
Yep, it works, and we
Every
do it
time. Mhm.
every time.
Sometimes I like to think about... We'll get into the game itself pretty soon. But sometimes I just like to think about past versions of me. And, like, really, imagine what 6, 7, 8-year-old you playing Pokemon could think if you would go back in time and be like, listen, you're going to be doing this forever.
Yeah. They never stop making these games.
And you're going to keep buying them.
Yeah. And some of them are going to be great.
There were times where I fell out of Pokemon, you know what I mean? Like in 6th, 7th grade.
Last time I played a Pokemon game was when they re-released Sapphire.
Oh, wow.
Sapphire and Ruby, and I got Sapphire because Kyogre is my favorite legendary Pokemon.
Your favorite one?
Yep.
Wow.
I just think he's cool. I like water types.
You do like water types. I mean, I didn't know that. We didn't talk about that prior to this podcast at all because we didn't know that we were playing Pokemon together. But
no, not at all.
You look like a water type.
Yeah? I look like someone who wears like jean shorts.
You look like you could be like a
tops.
water type gym leader. Like you kind of remind me of Misty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With my red hair and freckles.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'm completely ginger, by the way, if people didn't know.
Yelling and nagging us about stuff. The embarrassment. That's what people call you. Did you know that?
The embarrassment,
The
yeah.
embarrassment.
Braden the Embarrassment Neal.
Wow. What Pokemon?
Well, Pokemon. So, it's a interesting game, I would say.
Let's get the elephant in the room.
Yep. The Dodonzo in the room.
Go.
Or what's the elephant Pokemon?
Donphan.
Well, you said whale initially, so in my head, Dodonzo popped up.
I was going to say, I was going to let it slide. I was just going to be like, it's good, it's fine. You don't got to correct it. But, yeah, when you said it, I was like,
Yep.
Donphan. The
Donphan in the room, great. It's not very finished.
Nope, not pretty.
Yeah.
But not pretty. There are pretty moments. It's such a weird looking overall game.
It's not a
Parts of it
beautiful
look
game.
good.
Parts of it look good. You can definitely tell which parts had more time spent on it than others.
I like to look at the game as it's you and the Pokemon are the main, like, they're the detailed things. And you're all just kind of on this map world that they created.
It's just like a very plain polygon.
Like, the Pokemon look good, look good, but the universe you're in
looks kind of meh.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to what we would expect from a game today, it looks definitely bad. But what we would expect from Pokemon games, which historically are just, 2D pixelated games, I think it still works.
Rudy Tooty pixelated games. Yeah. No. I mean...
And it's still a fun experience.
Mm-hmm. And you just kind of get used to it. Like I said the other day, it's a really good-looking PS2 game. It's a really good-looking PS2 game.
It very much feels like you're playing a PS2 era game, but it's a really fun one, I think.
Yeah.
And it's Pokemon. I mean, it's a Pokemon game. It's just open world. And I think they nailed the open world aspects to it.
Dude, here's the thing I want to just say that I've been thinking a lot lately. In some strange way, Pokemon has always been open world.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah,
Those
we're just
games
thinking,
are open world.
I guess, 3D open world
I
compared
know
to 2D
that this is
open
the
world.
official, open, but think about it, even on the Game Boy, that was Game Boy's, that's pretty fucking open world for what it is, Pokemon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I'm glad they've really just, ran with it. We're just gonna dive right into what we like about it. I mean, everything else about it that isn't the bad graphics and the glitches, and I've learned to kind of think the glitches are kind of funny, but everything, there's a charm. Because the game is so good, that part just becomes kind of charming.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's honestly,
Love.
like you said, you stop noticing it after a while. I don't know, I just kind of, I grew up with PS2 era games, so, I'm used to playing games that, might have worse graphics than usual, but are still great games. And
it's
I think
strange right now is all.
Yeah.
Oh,
and, there are still, there's certain things
Whoa.
about...
Miranda, what are you playing on your Switch?
Miranda, what is that you just revealed?
Oh, that's Pokemon Violet.
What?
What?
You've been playing Pokemon Violet too?
Holy shit.
cow!
Damn.
Dang it.
I didn't know that. She's my girlfriend. We live together.
You live together.
I was too embarrassed
I was
to
just
say that I
embarrassed
I just
myself.
thought
She was
she was
embarrassed
playing
herself. Wow.
solitaire on that thing.
All these adults embarrassed to tell each other that they love playing Pokemon.
Interesting. Boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Weird.
Everyone loves them.
Crazy. Well, good for you, babe.
Yeah.
I'm glad that as we're talking about it, somebody in the room of the podcast is actively playing.
This is true. This is a
Pokemon
true
Violet.
fact. Pokemon Violet is in the room with us right as we speak. But anyways, yeah. There are a few things that do genuinely annoy me about it, but they're minor. One of my biggest gripes is the map system.
Oh, yeah, we did need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for one, it's one of the jankiest map systems I've ever come across in a game.
It's like, it's oh my god, it's kind of an analogy for the game itself.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a good map overall.
It's
but
a great detailed map.
They
but,
implement it
so poorly.
horribly.
So to describe this map, basically you need to hit like 3 different buttons to actually get into the map mode, because you have to like bring up your Pokedex menu first, then you have to hit X, then you have to actually scroll up to map to get into the map. Like, there's not just like a straight button to like open up the map.
Yeah,
There is.
Is there?
the Y button.
I tried the Y button before.
Try it again.
Oh.
It goes right to it.
I'll try it again.
Yeah, I didn't know you could go into it the other way till the other day.
That's how I've
Brandon
always
showed
been
me.
doing it.
You go X and then Y?
Yeah.
Oh no, you can just hit Y.
Oh, I'll have to try that then.
Yeah, you'll have to Y that then. But still, even though now you found an easier way
Now
to
I
get
found
into it,
it.
it's still
It's
a
still
shitty
fucking
map.
janky map.
Yeah.
So anyway, it opens up like it doesn't align itself to true north. It aligns itself to whichever way your character is facing
When you hit the button.
when you hit the button. So like you'll
the
like
map is constantly spinning
you have to
around.
constantly spin the map around to figure out where the hell you are.
But the map, you see, you're constantly too zoomed in to really figure out exactly where you are even when you're spinning it. But if you take it all the way out, you can see the entire map facing true north.
Yeah.
But so you can see where you want to go.
But you can't manipulate it
Nope.
at that point, and if you go
Once you
zoom
zoom
back
back
in,
in,
it zooms right back
back
into
to
where
where
you
you
were at
are.
the area, like
So you're
nowhere
in
near
this-
close.
So when you pull it up, you have to like look when you look at the main map, like all the way zoomed out. You kind of have to look at what things around where you want to go look
Yeah.
like. So then when you're zoomed in, you can there's that piece and kind of move it accordingly.
And then it also, like, some of the icons have explanations to them, and other icons have no explanations to them whatsoever. There's not really a map key that I could find, unless you found a map key that explains what, like, all the symbols are. Like, you figure it out once you go to those things, but, like, you have to figure it
You
out.
do have to figure out, which kind of fun. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like all these marks that you're like, no idea what any of that is. Elden Ring's kind of like that a little.
Yeah.
Solve the game as you play it. But
Yeah, the map is weird, but it's, it works it well enough that it's not, like, you just have to spin it a lot.
It's just something that every time you use it, you just kind of bitch a little.
Yeah.
Like, it's never like an entirely
I fucking knew
good
it.
time. Like when you know you have to fly somewhere, there's like this initial like, here we go,
Alright.
spin it around. Yeah, very tough map, but good in another way. Like it is a like when you figure out what you're doing, it is nice and convenient and well done. And
Yeah.
pretty big, massively big. There was a part today that I walked into that I was just like, I still haven't, like, I thought I had hit the whole map,
there's
but
still areas I haven't explored
yeah,
yet.
for sure. So, and I've sunk close to 50 hours at this point into this game. I was at like 42, I think, before this morning's. Remember when we were all sitting in the basement not talking about the fact that we were playing Pokemon together?
Yeah.
And,
We were all playing Pokemon.
like, for hours. Yeah. So that had to add a good chunk of change to my run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours I have in it, but it's a lot.
Yeah, probably. If you pull up your character ID, it tells you your playtime.
I'll have to look at that. But I almost have my first level 100.
Holy shit! Really?
Jeez.
Yeah, I bet I've my
Yeah.
Quaxaquaddle. Quaxaquaddle?
Quacksquaddle.
Quaxquavel?
I think it was Quacksquaddle.
Quaxaquaddle? I don't know how to
Quaxaquaddle?
pronounce its name.
Quacksquaddle.
Quaxaquaval?
Yeah,
like
one
that.
of you was putting in a were
Yeah.
putting in a letter yesterday that wasn't even in it when Nas said it.
Quaxquavel.
I can't remember what it was.
Quaxquavel?
Quacksquaddle.
Quaxquaval?
Quacksquaval.
Quaxquaval.
Quacksquaval. Quacksquaval.
Quaxquaval.
Quacksquaval.
Quaxquaval. He's at level 93.
Damn, dude. I get it. Like, it's a game that, like...
Well, it's a she, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, I get that too. But like, it's a game that if I wasn't switching between so many to be on the same level at the same time, if I just had 6, it's so easy to level up that like I, no doubt in my mind, my starter would probably be up there somewhere too.
Oh, I found once you like
Such a quick leveling system.
once you like get to the higher levels and you can just like attack higher level Pokemon, like you can just bring along a lot of low leveled Pokemons and that level up pretty quick.
That's
It's pretty easy. That is one thing. Like I enjoyed it, but also was like trying to look a little bit more in. Is that I didn't find it like super challenging. Like there were some challenging battles that I had to like restart.
yeah.
And like there are a few battles that I lost, but overall, compared to like my other Pokemon game experiences where I've had to like really fight, most of the time like I just focused on training up my starter, and they could like wipe out most teams' rosters just by themselves.
That's when by the time I got my second badge was when I decided to make a B team, because I kind of like was just stronger enough than them that it was like, okay, if I want to have like a challenge with this, I gotta make more and
like,
move it around.
It
helped.
I beat the Elite Four and Champion run in one run because my Quaxquavel was already like level 83 at that point, and I had like a roster.
Oh my god, it was at level 83 by the time you got to the Elite Four.
Yeah, and I had a roster of
fucking hell, man,
60s.
you were grinding at it.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, no wonder it was easy. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still a challenge. I was down to I got down to 2 Pokemon.
Yeah.
During the champion.
Challenging, but I've kind of stopped thinking of Pokemon. Once I stopped being like a kid, Pokemon games stopped being challenging to me. So it was like I've accepted them as not the most challenging RPGs.
Well, I figured out it really is like if you just like buy a bunch of items, like potions and revives and stuff, like because that's why I did. Like I had a bunch going in.
Dude, you don't even really have to buy them in this game. They're all over the fucking game.
That's the thing. I also just like religiously pick up all the
everything
objects everywhere because you get so much shit.
That's a good. Sorry, nobody's talking about all these good like items just littered about.
Yeah,
very good.
Find items.
There's so many good things about this game that like they did nail the open world aspect in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And you can't have your Pokemon run alongside you.
Love it.
They can auto-battle things.
Best way to level up I've ever seen.
I really like the travel system.
They gave us fly right away.
Yeah.
Auto-locate's a thing. It's not an attack or a move. Have you got like a TM fly? I hope the attack fly is still in the game, but I haven't come across it.
I haven't come across fly. But you can glide.
Neither have I. What? Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go into any spoiler details, but incredible story.
Yeah.
Incredibly touching, and just like, by the end of it, I was just like, holy fuck, this shit is insane.
Yeah, it goes in a place you never expected.
From Pokemon.
It's very interesting characters. Like, I found myself enjoying all the characters by the end of it.
Yeah. How they interact when they're having conversations in that one area.
Yeah.
Yeah, super...
Even like the school aspect. There's like a school aspect to this game that you can do, and you also don't have to really engage with it at all, really.
I haven't done any of it, me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back, I promise.
But it's cool. It's cool. It's like an extra little... Like, I like those side things that Pokemon games add.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't typically do any of them. I'm like mediocre about any of the side things. This one I am interested in doing. A lot of the stuff that I kind of set aside to play the storyline and, you know, just train Pokemon and catch Pokemon, I'm excited to get into now that the storyline for me is at least completed.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the storyline overall. Had a great, you know, twist ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Loved it. Loved the Ed Sheeran coming in clutch at the end.
Ed Sheeran coming in clutch.
For those who don't know, there in the credits after you beat the game, an Ed Sheeran song plays, and it's. I mean, you know Pokemon probably out there. You've played a Pokemon game and see those things end usually. Never Ed Sheeran. Not anything even close to Ed Sheeran.
Strange.
Yeah.
A choice of song that
But it also works.
It works, yeah. It's not a bad song. I just wasn't expecting to hear Ed Sheeran at the end of a Pokemon game.
Not unless the radio was on. Nope. Yeah, so that was, good. I'm having so much fun. That's what's most important that I'm taking away from playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Is it entertaining?
Just Violet. I was so hyped leading into this game. Like, it's all I could think about. I was 2 weeks leading into it. I was just playing Pokemon games, like getting myself ready. And then I found out the thing about the graphics, and it really hit me hard. And I was like, oh no, this is how this game's gonna be remembered. Yada yada yada. Once I got past that, though, it ended up being, for me, probably the most fun I've had in playing Pokemon games in years. I almost want to say the most fun I've ever had, but that would be, I don't know if I can confidently say that, but I feel comfortable even saying that I could.
Yeah, it's
a good fucking
It's a good game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, it's not finished.
Not finished.
But
took away things in Arceus that I liked that I wish they would have kept, but borrowed enough from it too that I liked a lot.
Yeah.
So.
And it's very enjoyable, and I had a fun time with it.
Lovely time. Easy to just spend hours upon hours.
Yep.
Playing it.
Leveling up your Pokemon.
That's the thing, like, a lot of times I finish these games, I'm like, now that I'm done, like, is there enough for me to do to keep sinking hours into this game? And I'm like, yeah, I spent most of the storyline also just grinding and doing other things, so I'm very comfortable playing the game, not playing the story.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it, too, is there's, like, some Pokemon games, if there's no extra story, it gets a little repetitive, but with this one, the repetition really works, and it is fun, and you have a purpose, and yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Cool.
I think it's good. It's good at the things that it needs to be good at, and that's all that really matters. Like, you can get past the PS2 graphics and the wonky map system. It's a very good game.
Yeah.
And I plan on playing more of it tonight.
Yep, me too. Yeah. Yep, same. One more positive. We should end on a positive.
I think the exploration part of the game is very enjoyable, which that's like the main aspect of any Pokemon game that they need to get right.
Yeah.
Just like going out into the wild, like the world, even though it's graphics aren't great, it's still an interesting world.
Nice to look at. There's a lot going on.
And there's a lot going on.
Something
there's
going
Pokemon
on.
everywhere.
Pokemon are riddled in this.
Yeah.
Place. It feels very lived in.
It's very lived in.
Very lived in.
And you can just, spend your days fighting and catching Pokemon.
And you enjoy, like, here's the deal, man. For me, in all the other Pokemon games, basically what I'll do is, like, you go to your towns, and then if you gotta do something in the outer world, you stay kind of close.
Yeah.
You're the pro, you don't have to go, like, you don't have to walk route to route. This game makes me want to, like, I want to spend no time in the towns, and all of my time out and about.
I've, like, had to go back to towns and actually spend time with them because I would just plow through them and, like, miss a lot of stuff. Like, I finally went back and, like, went to all the stores just to see what they offered. And, like, it was, like, stuff that I was interested in. But it took me a while to even be interested in the towns.
Right, because you're just having so much fun, just, like, out and about. Pokemon are everywhere, and that's a great aspect of it. They've, like, this is how Pokemon needs to be now.
Yeah, and they give you a
Forever.
Pokemon to ride, and it's very
Ride
fun.
on.
Yeah, Rhydon. Yeah. That's in the Violet version. And Koraidon in Scarlet.
Correct.
But I thought their traversal abilities were pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, once they... So, like, I was so confused when we first got the game, because it gains abilities throughout the game every time you clear a certain area. And it was just so slow. I was like, oh my god, is this our vehicle? This is our vehicle?
I remember thinking that, too.
Holy fuck.
Like, this is...
I think I
rough.
could just walk. But as soon as you get, like, boost, it becomes so... And then everything that adds surf, glide, rock climb, it's just like, I just love riding around on that fucker. Yeah. Very, very cool. So, like, you can explore the map on your feet, and you get around just fine, but you get on that... You have somewhere to be. You don't just fly to it like you used to. You get on Miraidon and fucking get moving.
You can literally
just
traverse everywhere.
I love getting up on the top of the tall mountains and just use glide and just go somewhere. Very cool ability. Very cool ability.
And I like dive, dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catches you in it. Yeah. I mean, I found a lot of Pokemon just by like finding little caves that you discover.
Yeah. So that's a very fun aspect of it, I thought.
Absolutely. I think that was a great note of Pokemon to end on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Time to go and fall. Team Skeldurge and Team
Quaxquavel?
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 Quaxquavel.
I thought they have a D, like Quaddle?
Quaxquavel? I think it's Quaxquavel.
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 Quack.
Yes.
Okay.
So, cool. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Weird how that just happened. Completely unplanned.
We all
Unscripted.
unplanned this Pokemon Violet talk.
Neither of us have talked about it all together.
Never.
This whole time.
At all.
Weird.
All
So,
right.
but now we're going to bleed in from the show on out. We are just going to talk about two things, really. Technically 5, but 2 things.
Yes.
Just to give everybody a heads up, we're not kind of following the normal format. Oh boy, so we're going to split. Little fallback on the last thing. The things do happen in the game that do bring anger out of you as a human. I think that is a positive thing, though. It's in a positive way. But we are going to be reviewing the entirety of Andor. We'll be loosely... We can probably go spoiler-free for a little bit, but
Yeah.
get into
Just
spoiler
get like a big overview of
territory.
the series.
Yeah, pretty hard. And then after that, we are going to do our... Kung Fu Movie Marathon Review.
Yes.
We watched 4, count them, 4
4.
Kung Fu movies to prep for tonight. Each a little of a different genre, and
Yeah.
they're very
They're very different Kung Fu
from
movies
each
all
other
around.
entirely.
Yeah.
Specific. They share what they share is a Kung Fu, they all different swag.
execution.
This is a little surprise for you. I'm not gonna tell them, but that we watched the 4th one because you watched 3 of these movies with us.
Yes.
But we have a surprise movie that we decided to throw in because we were just so enthralled by how fun we were having watching karate movies that.
And I think that
I'm glad we watched that one. Yeah. Braden and I just watched it, Miranda too, and we have not really, other than what we said during the movie.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about.
we haven't talked about it at all.
So,
Deliberately trying to avoid opinions.
we're looking forward. Yeah, we're looking forward to when we get into that. But
Oh, the bugs just got really silent for a little bit.
Oh, they're back. Jeez.
Probably like a predator passing by or something.
They just all shut down and shit.
Yeah.
Fuckers. Well, they'll probably keep doing. I mean, I heard those predators show up every 7 minutes and 12 seconds.
Really? Okay, so we'll time
Probably be prepared for that. But okay, Andor.
Andor.
Dude, I want to kind of take this podcast talk of Andor, kind of like the way the show
I have
is.
to stand up for this.
I think we go into it slow and we build. We build.
Just like the show.
Exactly. Where to begin? Braden, I am going to let you begin us because here's what I like the most about this show, for you specifically.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying this show. I am very impressed with it. I don't have too much negative to say about it. But Braden is so into this show.
I'm very into this show.
I'm happy for him because he hasn't really been into anything much like
At
this.
all.
Like this that
At
I've seen
all.
since you've been back from Africa.
Yeah.
And certainly not Star Wars related.
Since I've been back from Africa, the first Star Wars related thing, new Star Wars related thing I saw was Rise of Skywalker, which was a fever dream to me.
Yeah.
And it was a very weird time.
Yeah. Have you watched it since?
No, I need to.
You should watch it again.
I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah.
At some point. I just need to prep myself.
Yeah. Andor's not a good thing to prep yourself for because
No.
it won't look good next to that.
And then, the Book of Boba Fett came out, and Book of Boba Fett came out first, right?
After,
Those predators again.
it came quick.
Quicker this time.
Cut that. Yeah. Boba Fett. Keep going.
Yeah, so Book of Boba Fett came out. I didn't hate Book of Boba Fett. I actually enjoyed it at the time as I watched through it, but throughout the entire time, I'm like, there's some corny parts to this. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a high entertainment television. It was just like a fun action adventure movie with Boba Fett.
It's a fun romp.
It's
got some of the also best Star Wars stuff. I love the Luke Skywalker episode of that.
Yeah.
In Solidarity, one of the best Star Wars things.
Yeah, and it's good. I enjoyed Book of Boba Fett, but it's just hard to compare it to how I enjoyed Andor, because it's very different.
Totally different feeling. Totally different shows.
Yeah. Same with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of disappointed me. I had some very high moments in it, especially with like the Vader scenes, but overall, I was like, they could have done better.
In a way, that's kind of like what Star Wars has become, just like these like big moments and like messy things.
Yeah. It was very messy throughout, but some very good moments in there. Like, don't sleep on Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it definitely should have been probably better.
Better and, like, in certain ways, more thought out.
More thought out, better written. To get Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen to come back, like, you better make it.
It was their chance to kind of, like, really be in a good thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can say what you want about the prequels, love them or hate them. It's not like every universally good, where that could have been.
And while there were some, like I said, good parts of the show, it just seemed like other parts of the show were not well thought out at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But this isn't a Kenobi review.
No.
This is an Andor review.
Yeah, I think the best way to review Andor is
the
opposite of those.
I'm just, charting my journey up to this point. But overall, I've just been kind of, burnt out from Star Wars at this point. I was not planning on watching Andor at all, because it was the same excuse a lot of other people had, where it's just like, why would they make a series about that dude? No one knows who he is. And, does anyone really want this? And then Chase actually told me to watch it.
I think on the last podcast I was giving you my advice.
You did tell me to watch on the last podcast, I think. Because the first 3 episodes had come out, and you said that you thought that they were pretty good. And I gave it a watch, and like I enjoyed what was happening in the first 2 episodes. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. Like, it's got me interested. Like, it's building up. It's stylized in a way I've never seen Star Wars stylized before.
By not knowing anybody on screen, you just feel so comfortable with them.
I feel immersed. Yeah, I feel very immersed throughout this entire show in all of the sets, because a lot of it is used CGI and practical effects in practical sets, and not all just like in the volume,
right?
Like how a lot of Obi-Wan and Boba Fett were shot.
Yeah, if not all of it.
Yeah.
And then you can tell and you can feel. This is a show that you can feel in the viewer.
You feel like you're there. Yeah, and this is a criticism that comes with a lot of Star Wars, and I joke because I do actually love the planet, but there's no Tatooine in Andor. It's mostly entirely new planets that we see. We do see Coruscant, which that's not really a spoiler because that's in the trailers, but
that's fine.
Yeah. But like, we see different planets, and we actually
lots of different planets.
New planets that we've never seen before, new aliens. And we get to get tidbits of each planet's culture and like how the native population there acts, and what their relationship is with the Empire, how some are more contentious than others, how some like areas the Empire's not completely spread out yet, so they've put out they've leased out their systems to these corporate forces.
Yeah.
And like other areas, they're really clamping down.
Yeah.
But overall, it's still in that weird nebulous period where they are pretending like they're not just a full-on evil fascist empire. They are, but like they're really slowly grinding out, I guess, the last bit of resistance in the galaxy to them.
Yeah.
But it's a very well-made show. I was engaged pretty much the entire, like, by episode 3, which is like the hook episode.
The episode that really kicks it off.
The episode that really kicks it off, where like action really starts to happen.
It ends with Andor kind of joining up with we're gonna give names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he teams up with Luthen. Yeah. Sorry, I was like, is that right?
Yeah.
Luthen, and they're just kind of going off into wonder. So that sense of wonder takes you as they're going off into space.
Because this is an entirely new character, I believe.
Who?
Luthen.
Yeah.
He's
He's
an entirely original character of this show, never before seen in Star Wars.
Never heard of.
Never
and
heard
he even
of.
acknowledges that in an episode when he gives an epic little speech of that.
Yes.
Nobody will even know him.
He pretty much gave the
Now
canon
we do.
reason of why no one has ever heard of this character before.
This is a character not only do we know, but we will. There's more to learn, and he will be a remembered Star Wars character.
Yeah.
Same with Andor.
Played by one of the most talented actors that they got in a cast full of all talented actors. Like, I couldn't find a performance in this show that I disliked. Like
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
No.
Yeah, when Will Ferrell said it's Andor in time, that was
It's-
weird.
It's Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg in there, Andor and Luthen, and
Yeah. So if you weren't ready to
Wild,
see
bro.
them crack jokes to each other the whole time.
the whole thing. It's like them getting into sticky Empire situations and like, what do you mean? I don't know. I forgot to bring it.
But yeah, so tonally it's a lot different from other Star Wars that we've seen. Stylistically, it's pretty different from other Star Wars that we've seen. And some people use that to say that it's like not Star Wars, or you shouldn't really consider it Star Wars, that you should just consider it a generic sci-fi show.
Well,
But
I'm considering it Star Wars.
I'm considering it Star Wars because there are so many references and so many homages and so many connections to the Star Wars universe in this show that it wouldn't be the same show without Star Wars. And it does pay respects to the original Star Wars.
It builds upon the crust that it was.
Yeah.
It was. Oh
And
my
I feel
God,
like it
gets
uplifts-
such into the empirical, gritty,
Nitty gritty.
nitty gritty.
Oh fuck!
Because I feel like people who are criticizing it, saying that it's not Star Warsy enough, just don't really
Dude,
get
it's
the
so-
point of Star Wars.
Yeah, if some people are saying that, they're out of their fucking minds.
I've
because
seen that as like a main criticism.
it could be the most. It's the most Star Wars thing I think I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah,
It's so
I
good.
agree.
It's so good.
It brought suspense back to Star Wars, because Star Wars used to be about suspense. Like, The Empire Strikes Back is a very suspenseful movie.
Dude, the first one, New Hope, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Dude, the first, it's a everybody. That's part of the fucking zeitgeist, knowing how Star Wars goes. But like, you didn't know fucking Han Solo was gonna come back and fucking. Let's fucking do this, kid. No,
Yeah, it was incredible at the time, and I feel like
Blow
Andor
this thing and
brings
go.
that back, because that's also one of the things the show does really well, is building the suspense. Because it takes
Characters die.
Characters die.
Like,
Stormtroopers. That's another
Drop.
thing. Stormtroopers
Stormtroopers-
are competent.
the Stormtroopers are barely in it.
Stormtroopers are
they
barely
built
in it.
to the Stormtroopers even. Like, it started with like these low-level empirical cops.
Yeah, like
And then it
guys
built
below,
to, like,
guys below
Stormtroopers
Stormtroopers.
being there.
And so it actually makes Stormtroopers feel intimidating again. Like they are actual
You're-
sharpshooters.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
elite forces.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and all of the villains are competent. The heroes are competent, the villains are competent, so it makes a good cat and mouse game. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why Death Note is such a popular series, because both the antagonist and protagonist are extremely competent rivals. And you want to see...
And it's up to you to think who you think is the, at least in Death Note, who the protagonist and the antagonist even is. For us, we know who the good guys are, because they're not the Empire. But,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh. But yeah. And when things happen to the good guys or the bad guys, you feel things for both of them.
Because it takes time to establish its characters, give them different character traits, and establish their motivations. And it really fleshes out the world a lot, to where the point where the finale episode, you're really worried about all of the characters involved just because you've grown attached to them.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And it's, carried
They bring
by...
everybody from basically the whole show up until that point back for at least something.
Yeah.
So if they live
they live that long. And which was incredible. Also one of the best finales I think I've ever seen in a show, period. Like, season finale, I would say.
It's pretty solid.
It's very good the way they did it.
And it also borrows from the emotion that, because you know about Star Wars, because you know about the Empire,
Yeah.
you feel lots of things. Like, in the first 3 movies, you are told that these are villains, and the characters you see are the Empire. And Darth Vader and the Emperor, villainous. But in this show, you are seeing why the Empire is bad.
Yeah.
For an entire... Not because they're ruled by evil Dark Lords, but because they are... Those evil Dark Lords are running this thing like evil fucking Dark Lords.
Like space
and people
Nazis.
have to live with that.
It's generally, there's a lot of allusions to the Holocaust in this series. And just like how, the Empire is space Nazis. Like, it reminds people, they are space fascists.
What did I tell you about bringing up the Holocaust on this show? No, and I want people to feel comfortable when they watch this, Braden. I don't want them to feel like...
I think about the Holocaust.
Bring about
and how 6 million Jews died.
What about our Jewish audience, dude? Don't you care about our Jewish audience?
I'm acknowledging the Holocaust.
I know.
I'm just saying. I'm saying the series is also acknowledging the Holocaust.
I'm just fucking with you. I wanted to do a riff. We gotta spice this thing up with a riff every once in a while.
Great riff.
Go ahead.
Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, Space Empire. The Empire is competent. Everyone does things that make sense. There's never an action that a character took where I'm like, why would they do that? Like, you understand exactly why everyone's doing everything. And I think it's just really solidly well written.
Well written, well acted, well directed, well shot.
Very well acted.
So many interestingly shot scenes.
Yeah, genuinely some of the best cinematography and dialogue that we've ever seen in Star Wars.
And you gotta remember, this is a television show.
Yeah, this is like movie level quality.
Every episode.
Yeah.
With really good television show styled writing. Oh my god. And Andor, it's the name of the show, but he is just one of the characters. He's the main character, but there's so much other shit going on around him that it's like, you're just invested in all the other characters' storylines who have never even met the fucking guy.
It's about,
you know what I mean?
Andor, but it's also about just the rebellion. And the people, like the regular, everyday people in the Star Wars universe, and what they did to oppose the Empire, and why they personally opposed the Empire, because they don't have, an evil Dark Lord as a father. Yeah. So why do common people get involved in the rebellion? And this shows you why.
Yeah.
Because they're awful.
Because they've lived with it. This is an empire that is roughly 15 years into its existence. That's long enough to be oppressed, and you can feel it. That by the end, when you see people acting, you feel their emotions. You can empathize with them because you almost feel like you were a part of that.
Yeah, that emotional.
Yeah.
Torture.
Because you're so attached to the characters that you see what they're putting them through that you're like, kick their rat bastard asses. Fuck the Empire! You know what I mean? People love Darth Vader. People love they love that villainy.
Yeah.
The Empire's bad, but we love, there are people that love it. This movie, or this show makes you hate those motherfuckers because they are.
How they're evil.
They're popular because they're the worst, and this show is showing us that
they'll wipe out planets without thinking about it.
Rest easy, Alderaan.
Yeah, and those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
The Force Awakens? No.
The torture guys. The torture voices. The torture singing.
Oh yeah, those things.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Ugh, this show. Dude, that poor girl.
Yeah. That's another thing. Consequences.
Name, what's her name?
Biggs.
Yeah.
Consequences happen to people. Their actions have consequences, which is always nice to see with characters.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're a good character or not.
Literally, like, the first scene of the show is
Love it.
the consequences of his own actions coming back to bite him.
Yeah. Immediate ones, yeah.
Yeah, immediate consequences to those actions. And then him having more consequences to those actions.
It's a
reverberating
show of
throughout
like
his life.
consequences that build up to his actions. Actions that you are rooting for him for.
Yeah.
But there's
You
still
want
like,
him to make it through.
not the best to have actions, yeah.
Yeah.
What a show.
What a show.
Oh my god.
Great new original characters, which Star Wars needed.
Mm-hmm.
People loved Ahsoka Tano, or people actually didn't love Ahsoka Tano when
no.
she was first introduced, but now she's one of the best characters in
Cringe
Star
worthy
Wars.
she was, I know. And now I love her.
Yeah, I think every once in a while you need to inject some new things to keep it alive.
Yep. And Star Wars will do that every once. Like
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, Grogu. A character that people instantly fell in love with and still are. And I think Andor has introduced a lot of cool characters and ones that are definitely going to become well known. Everybody's kind of still in their infancy. They're popular. They're big, but they're not quite like they're not your household names quite just yet. But I think there's potential.
Yeah, I have faith with season 2 that all their arcs will come home real well.
God, I can't wait to
That's
see
the
that.
thing, like, watching this week to week, I kept expecting a bad episode.
Yeah.
Like, I kept expecting it to get worse. And to me, it just, like, kept climbing.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
it
it
just
got
kept
better.
getting better.
And when it did slow down, when it didn't get better, it like stayed on the same because you knew it was building to what was coming that was better.
So, like, essentially the way it's structured is there's, like, 3 episode arcs with the third episode, the 2 episodes mainly being set up and the third episode being the climax. And I feel like with each conclusion of each arc, the climax got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, it finally, like, the final climax is, like, everything explodes. Like,
And they're all big.
yeah,
Each
they're all big.
climax
Like, they
is
all
pretty
exciting.
big. Yeah.
Things, like, exciting things happen
The
in
fucking
each
Star
one.
Festival thing episode that they flew through in the second arc, I guess.
But I think genuinely, it just tops itself. Like, each climax tops itself.
Yeah.
And not even the action parts interested me the most about this show. It was just, like, the actors interacting with each other. The characters interacting with each other,
Yeah.
I should say. The dialogue scenes. Like,
It's all-
there's some
yeah.
very well-written dialogue scenes in Andor that are just, like, made me glued to the screen.
And for me, because of those, the action scenes are my favorite thing about this show because those moments in between help build
Really
to make
build it up.
those action scenes what they are, and because I am an action theme kind of sucker, because of those little moments throughout the building that led to it, the little character moments, the action scenes are all the more just like, hell yeah. It's a show that really complements itself all over the place. It's like every time I look in the mirror, compliments all over the place.
And yeah, I'm excited for season 2. It just started filming not too long ago.
No. Yeah, like last month maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a while. We got a ways out. But they left such a good taste in our mouths. We'll wait.
Yeah.
And
I will wait for this. Because
there'll be other shit in between.
I haven't been this excited about a Star Wars project in a very long time. Like,
Yeah.
probably not since The Force Awakens was announced.
So that wraps our Star Wars Andor review, spoiler free / spoilery. So now we can kind of mosey on into the grasshopper,
Crouching Tiger.
hidden justice. Ching chong chow, everybody.
Cut that.
I know. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. You know what I mean?
It was good and unexpected.
Green almost spit out his drink when I said that. We're doing
our Kung Fu movie marathon.
Yep.
So, over the past week or so,
Yep.
we have watched 4.
Count them. 4.
Count them 4.
Count them.
Count them.
Miranda, could you give me a popsicle? Count them 4.
Count them 4. Kung Fu movies.
Yes.
The first 3 we actually watched with our friend Swag,
One of our viewers.
one of our viewers.
Since we have a couple now.
Yeah, we have to go in the plural now.
Yeah, how about that?
And the 4th one we just watched not too long ago.
Today. 3. We probably. How long have we been recording?
About an hour and 12 minutes.
Hour and 12 minutes. So about 3 hours ago we watched this movie.
Yeah. So it's still pretty fresh in our mind. Keep in mind, I saw the first 3 movies we watched previously, and was, or no, except for one of them.
You didn't see.
I didn't see one of them. I saw 2 of them previously. Chase had saw another one of them previously.
Yes.
Ooh.
And we decided we wanted to throw one that neither of us had seen so we could experience it together and then talk about it.
Yes. And so we decided we were going to go in the order that we watched them in. So first off, we started with... What do we start with, Chase?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Which, it set the tone for the whole weekend and the whole marathon because it was the first one we watched. And it was a very unique style of Kung Fu movie.
Yeah.
Had we watched like a boring one to start off? Bad start. But this one...
And looking back on it, I'm so glad that we started with this one. Because I felt like it was a great way to, like, dip our toes into the Kung Fu genre without taking it too seriously, because it is a Kung Fu comedy. It's a very silly movie, like, very absurdist. Like,
yeah, absurdist is a good way. It was written very... I don't want to say satirical, but there's a little bit of satiricalness.
I would say satirical. It's definitely making fun of, like, classic Kung Fu movies, like...
It's like a Monty Python Kung Fu movie.
Because, like, the random chosen one aspect, like, that came out of nowhere, and just, like, all these people are actually all hidden Kung Fu masters, like...
Oh my god, it was all over the place.
It was making fun of a lot of typical tropes, but it still managed to be also a good Kung Fu movie. Like, the style of the satire allowed them to do really crazy Kung Fu moves, and it worked.
And you just go along with it.
Yeah, because you're just
they
can,
I
they
get
do this.
what this is. It's a real-life anime kind of thing, and I'm watching it like a real-life anime kind of thing.
Which is pretty much how I described it to you.
Yeah.
Get you to watch it. I said it's about as close to anime in real life as you can get with live action in terms of the characters and their different kung fu fighting styles.
It's from 2004, so like you expect the effects that you get.
Yeah, they're not like
bad,
they're 2004 effects,
yeah.
but it's
and like sometimes the cheapy looking aspect of it is part of its charm.
right. It's charming.
Yeah,
and it's actually got like a good emotional heart to it, I think too.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Like, you're rooting for the protagonist by the end, even though you barely really know anything about him.
You thought he was the villain most of the movie, and like
he's a dick for most of the movie.
He's kind of like fucking Cyril in a way. If Cyril does go good by the end, and he's not always the most focused on character. There are other stories. You're almost wondering why he's still being involved in a lot of it.
Like you don't even really realize he's the main character for a while.
Well. I thought I figured out who the main character was like 3 times, and none of them were.
Yeah.
2 of those motherfuckers died. So it was like, well, not them.
Yeah. It was a great kung fu fight. Like, all the kung fu fights I thought were really well choreographed.
Yeah. If we go through them, there's the opening one in, like, the yard, in the main, like, slum, and the lady, she's, like, super fast and kicking everybody's ass. And then all those 3 guys come in, they have that big battle in there, and you're like, okay, this is epic scale, you know, anime, big.
Yeah, these are
fun little opening fight.
Strong, like, superhuman people.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's, like, the follow-up raid with that. It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
They're hopping through the streets. She runs into the sign.
And there's so many times where I was like, is that character dead? And they weren't dead.
And then you
like,
start to realize, it's like Looney Tunes logic a lot of the time.
Well, the opening theme, we thought the her husband die. Like he fell out of the window, he's bleeding.
Yeah.
We were just like, oh, that's a dead guy now.
Nope.
He's like one of the main characters, like the second best karate master on the planet.
He's just this horny old man.
Yeah. Like what the fuck is that about? I enjoyed the second big fight with the first picked bought off assailants.
Yeah.
That got really anime like. Yeah, just shooting
Yeah.
like powers out of their music, and the kung fu people are fighting them off.
They have their
Kills
everyone has
all of
their
the main characters, like who I thought were the main trio.
Yep,
of
they're
kung
all
fu
dead.
people.
people who are the heroes like right away die.
Die very quick.
And the guys who suck live.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you find out that they actually turns out he's the main character.
He's the main character.
And he's actually the chosen one.
And you learn that he's the chosen one in a way that you think that he's being bullshit, and he's not the chosen one.
Right, because it sounds like bullshit, and the flashbacks make you believe it's bullshit.
But by the end, it's not bullshit, and he
Yeah.
actually is. So fucking goofy.
Oh. Just that Buddha palm technique.
Just that blows a hand through the building.
Yeah, I thought that was a
Even
great
just the
effect.
guy becoming like a frog.
The toad
beast.
style of melee.
Is that his name? The
cool.
Beast?
The Beast, yeah.
The Beast.
Oh my god.
I think it just kept ramping up. When you thought it couldn't get any more ridiculous, it just got more and more.
And there were lots of parts of it where I was like, what the hell is going on? Some movies make you feel that way, and you don't like them. And then there's some movies that you like them because they make you feel that way.
There are a lot of times
Because
where
the
it's
payoff
just
is goofy.
because it's fast paced too. It's like
Oh,
they get right
Kung
into
Fu
the
Hustle.
story. Yeah, Kung Fu
Hustle.
Hustle. But you're invested the entire time. Like they literally introduce like the big bad
Even though we
villain
took a break.
out of nowhere,
Yeah. Yeah, the final boss just kind of comes in at the end,
and
and
then you're just like, yeah, this guy seems tough.
he's beating the people that we see be really good up until this point.
Yep.
He withstood being like, ah, screamed at. Even like the modified screamed at, he survived it.
He's just like a gross old man.
Yeah. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed, like, once we finished that, I was like, alright, I can't wait to watch the next couple, for sure. Like, I am into what we're doing here. Because I knew that the one that I was going to show was satirical, but different than that.
Yeah.
And then I knew the raid was, like, entirely different than that,
Yeah.
which it did turn out to be. So, it was a humbling, funny, got us into the mood for it.
Right.
Because I think if we watched the raid first, we probably wouldn't be as willing to go into the next.
Because the raid is a lot.
Yeah.
The raid is like a pure action.
Dude, if we would have started with this one we had today, I don't think we would have. I mean, not that it wasn't good. It was just so. It was just so graphic.
Yeah, it's
that
so
I think
graphic.
It would have been too
It's
much.
just like you can't. It feels like you can't get a breath
Yeah.
when you're watching these movies because you're just watching these people just beat the absolute shit out of each other
Dude.
and die in very.
I know we're not
ways.
at that movie yet, but
Yeah.
that movie was 2 hours of that.
Yeah,
2 hours of just like
fucking insane.
like that. Some of these movies that you have to wait a little bit before the fighting's. Like the raid, you kind of had to wait before the kung fu got.
Yeah.
That movie
remember
got
you
into
were-
kung fu quick and never stopped.
Remember, you were complaining about how slow it was getting into the action with the raid.
Yeah.
And then I told you just wait because once it starts, it doesn't stop.
I wasn't complaining. I was just nervous. I didn't know how long I had to wait.
Yeah,
But
not
you're
that
right.
long.
Once it did start, it did not stop. We will get there, though.
Yeah. So, next movie.
Do we want to?
Are we done with Kung Fu Hustle?
I mean, we could, yeah. We've
Do you have
covered.
anything else to say about it?
Probably, but I'll get back to it if I come into
Yeah,
it.
we could circle around too.
Yeah, we can circle around to it. Quaxquaddle?
Quaxquaddle? Quaxquaddle.
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 Quaxquaddle. Attorney of law.
Salsa dance.
Shimmy. Kung Pao.
Kung Pao.
So Kung Pao was the movie that I chose for our Kung Fu movie marathon because most of the Kung Fu movies I have already seen were just like old, Enter the Dragon, old Bruce Lee movies. I have a bunch of those DVDs at my mom's and like some Jackie Chan movies. So like, and like The Matrix, if you consider that a Kung Fu movie. Like, and I was like, we've every seen fucking Enter the Dragon or whatever. And so I wanted to go with one that I had hoped that Brayden hadn't seen because it was Kung Pao. It was
And I did not see it.
You had never seen it.
it was big for me when I was like 5th grade. It came out, so like a 5th grader really enjoyed it. Over the years, I still really liked it. I remember in 9th grade, I showed some friends. They also thought it was funny, so I was like, yeah. But I hadn't watched it in a long time, so I really had hoped that the humor in it still stood up till modern time, like adult me.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say, though a lot of it had some shitty cheesy jokes, it was full of really funny.
Pretty funny.
It was pretty fucking funny. So I was really happy about that.
Yeah, it got a few good belly laughs out of it.
It was also from like I said, 2004.
Yeah,
Older
humor,
kung
like
fu
you know,
movie, humor.
old humor.
But I've
But
never
some of
forgotten
it
it.
was still.
See, it's funny. I thought this Kung Fu Hustle is kung fu movie satire written by people from Japan.
Yeah.
And Kung Pao is kung fu satire written by Americans.
That's a great way to put it. It's
Yes.
like they're two satirical works about kung fu, but
Yeah.
they're different.
Culturally different.
Yeah, very culturally different in the humor styles.
Right. So what All Kung Pao really is, for people that don't know, is it's 3 old actual karate movies edited together, and then they edited in the main character, who is like a white guy, Steve Odenkirk, and he is the main character, and they edited him over top like a character in the actual movie that they used this from, and they dubbed over that Japanese or that kung fu movie with new goofy voice acting for everything, and they even play with dubbing. Like the main character is a white guy, but he is dubbed. Like he's speaking in English, but is dubbed in English, and his lips don't match up, and like they play with that, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, no one's lips match.
No one, it's all over the place. It's dubbed so goofily. Braden, tell me your thought. Like, this was new to you. What did you think?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect.
No.
I was pleasantly surprised. It
is a surprising movie.
There are also points in the movie where I was like, what the hell is going on? And he starts fighting barnyard animals.
He fights the cow.
He fights the cow. He fights a cow that it's a kung fu master.
I think the cow has a name, but I can't remember it right now.
It is like so random too. It's just like I forget whatever the main character's name was, but it was
The chosen one.
The chosen one. Avoid the fields, like or like avoid the farm. And it's like, what? And you're like, what does that mean?
It's just
just like thrown out there,
and then it becomes something. Yeah,
I was just like, that's so funny. That's so fucking stupid.
It's stupid funny. The whole fucking
It's very
thing.
stupid funny, but
It's well done. Stupid funny.
it is very well done. My favorite. This is the one that like I quote to myself and I have like in my head all the time. How many nuts do you need? Like, oh, I just need a pound of nuts. That's a lot of nuts.
The guy just like screamed it.
It's like
I
randomly.
think the scene just cuts in to him like walking in and he just like, I need a pound of nuts. And like it's just this very normal looking guy. And he's,
That's a lot of nuts.
and, whoa, yeah, I remembered liking that scene as a kid. I had forgot about it. And then it played the other night.
This is another, like, stupid humor, but this is, like, really funny because it's how stupid it is.
The way the guy voice acts,
The
though,
way
that's a lot of nuts.
that's what it's the delivery that absolutely nails it. It's the voice actor who delivered it. Dude just like shouting.
Yeah.
Everyone else is speaking at a normal volume.
And the guy, like the character, like he isn't shouting. Like the voice, the shouting voice is coming out of like a pretty like normal looking guy.
It's such like a dumb thing to say too. That's a lot of nuts. Like there's no reason to have that scene at all. It didn't do anything for the plot.
It does a little bit because he used the nuts. The nuts were his deal to the squirrel that like protected him from the blow at the end. He pays it. He puts the nuts like in the handprint and it runs off. Yeah, it's goofy. It's certainly that's a good part. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I would love to talk all the things about this movie. Though the dubbing of the main female character. Or, like the way they like, there's constantly scenes where like they'll go on these long tangents and it ends really goofy. Like she'll be like, "There's no way you can do it. Don't do it." Like she's like trying to get him to not do it, and then it ends with her going, "You can do it." Like, and then they just go. Like if they don't talk about it, they don't like wait what. Like it's the movie just keeps moving with like these people are just saying ridiculous shit.
It's just like what's the
Nobody cares.
stupidest shit we can say?
Oh my god, when they're at the top of the waterfall and the guy shows up and he's like, "Who are you?" "I am Ling's father." Wee-oh, 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 wee. Oh boy. Oh my god. And the beautiful thing is, I'm sure if you watch the real movie, like, those two characters are not related at all.
Ling's father.
Little noises this character makes. I was quoting it throughout the week. Like, there's the part where they're, like, training in the yard, and they're just like, "One of us is wearing a push-up bra." It's lazy, and it just keeps going, things like that. There's the part with, like, it's a group of children just in a frame coming into it, like, lighting sparklers, and they dubbed over, "We're children! We're children! We're children!" Like, they're cheering it. It's like, ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
I need to watch it again when I'm not as stoned, because at that point in the night it was late, and I was, like, very stoned.
Yeah.
But it was a great way to watch the movie the first time.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it as a kid, because I feel like being a kid and watching it is a lot like being stoned and watching it. Like, it's just, everything's just funnier because it's just so ridiculous.
But yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah. It's and the action's fun too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's actual
the
kung fu.
karate's there.
Yeah.
The kung fu scenes are there.
Which I always appreciate it. Like, if you're going to be an action comedy, don't skip on the action part.
Yeah, it's not just quotable. It's the fight scenes are there. They're fun. I mean, like you said, the fight with the cow. That is
it's a genuine fight.
A main fight.
Yeah. He has to fight this cow.
Yeah.
And it gives him trouble.
Yeah. And he trains, and he learns how to fight the main villain at the end, after the main villain, like, fucking stomps his bitch ass. Oh, yeah. I like the part where he's running in the field, and, like, all the characters are dead, like, they're dying.
Yeah.
But then they don't end up dying, and he does another lap. So fucking stupid, because he's really powerful. The first one starts out really powerful, like, the master, he's dying, and you think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And he dies. And then you're like, oh my god. And then it cuts to the girl, and then you're like, what the? She's down too. But you're still into it. And then she dies, and you're like, what? She's dead? And then he runs, and it's the dog. And you're like, the dog too? How did he get involved? And then he dies. And you're like, oh my god, all these guys are dead. Just to see that they're all not dead. So funny.
Oh, that's the thing. I need to, like, I can't even remember.
Yeah, it's probably good that I've seen it so many times that I just needed, like, a refresher. Swag also was, like, he was worried, because he had seen it. Swag had also seen it when he was younger, and he said, too, like, it was still held up.
It's still funny.
A lot of bad jokes in there still.
Yeah,
but,
there's
like,
a few stinkers.
But where it shines, you laugh very hard at it.
It got some good laughs from me.
Ka-ching! 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 Ching!
Ching, 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 ka-ching, ka-ching, ching, ching.
And then it's just like that girl in a bathing suit standing there. I love when she dies, because it's like, it's all these like serious characters going down, and then in slow-mo, it's just her also, he also fucking killed her. But it's like kind of majestic how she falls. Oh my god, it's so stupid.
Chosen one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's Kung Pao. I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm glad you would want to watch it again.
Yeah, I would definitely.
I was nervous leading with it being mine, because I was like, if this doesn't hold up.
No, and I think those
I'll
two
admit it.
were great
starters
to get us into.
I think it made us ready to watch something a little more serious.
Right, because we saw the funny parts. We got into the kung fu style, but like maybe we want to see a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
Now we're ready for a real kung fu movie. A genuine balls to the walls action kung fu movie.
Pretty, like, it kind of, I would say it jumped, like, 3 steps of kung fu grittiness to get to the Raid.
Oh, yeah. So, the Raid... We're starting with the Raid?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Raid is a movie I had seen previously and was one of the main inspirations for this night. Because it was one of the main movies I wanted you to see, along with Kung Fu Hustle.
It inspired you to get us to do this.
It inspired us to do the Kung Fu movie night. It's a very simple premise. It's about a police squad who are sent into this apartment complex to take down this drug lord. You know, bad things happen, a bunch of them die, and
does not go according to plan.
Does not go according to
at
plan.
all.
And they have to fight their way out, basically.
Yeah, and like when you told me that originally, and I was like, what does that mean? I never would have guessed what that meant. The way like this movie plays out, it's so once it gets going, it does not stop moving.
Yeah, they are trapped in this building, and it starts off as like a police style just shootout, pretty much. Like it's mainly action with guns, very little kung fu.
Yeah.
And then it gets into the kung fu. That first hallway fight scene, I watched so many times.
Yeah, because it like. There's a lot that happens before the first hallway fight scene happens.
A lot of people are dead.
It's getting you prepped for, like, this is a tight situation. This is getting hectic. This is dangerous. People could die and will die and do die.
Yeah. And
then kung fu just starts happening. That guy just is like, all right.
Yeah, it's like, I'm all out of ammunition.
Let's fucking... I'm actually trained to be a fucking ninja.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed that?
Who would have guessed that all of these Indonesian cops get secret ninja training because they all know kung fu to some capacity.
One of them is the best at it.
One of them's the best at it. He's the rookie. This is like his first time on the job, first time on like a big hunt like this.
And he's the best fighter in the entire apartment complex.
Yep, and they said that this place was a no-go before police were not allowed to go there because they would be killed instantly. Like, this gang lord has this thing locked down. But they go in anyways, under the supervision of the sergeant and lieutenant, which we find out later on that the lieutenant has ulterior motives than the sergeant, possibly.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun.
And yeah, our main character, Rama, is the rookie cop who has a pregnant wife, the typical cop tropes.
The movie starts off with you seeing him being with his pregnant wife. So you're like, oh, backstory.
Backstory, we want this guy to get out of here because he has a pregnant wife. Yeah, he's going to be
That's all we need to know.
Yep. That's all, yeah.
You don't want him to die.
Yeah.
Because he has a pregnant wife at home. These other people probably have families. He has a pregnant wife, so you're like,
and
whatever happens to him, he's the guy.
And that's sometimes all the characterization you need in a kung fu movie.
That's all you need.
His pregnant wife needs to get home. He's stuck in this apartment building.
Yeah.
He has to kung fu his way out of it.
And save people as best as he can.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not selfish.
Yeah.
He's getting his boys out, too. He's not just like, I got a wife at home. I got to get out. He's like, no.
So what goes awry?
What goes awry? Well, I'll tell you what goes awry.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on this, mate.
Okay. What goes awry? Everything you could possibly imagine continuously goes awry, from the smallest to biggest of things. What goes awry initially? A kid spots them and is like, they're sneaking in. The sneak's going okay.
Yep.
You're nervous though.
Yep.
So are they.
They've arrested a few people.
They are spotted by a kid. In the first moment that you see the lieutenant and the sergeant aren't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
Is that motherfucker just caps a kid?
Yeah, no question.
And
pretty good shot too.
Good shot.
Just straight through a door.
Didn't think it was gonna happen. Through a door, killed that fucking kid.
Yep.
And right at that moment, that kid gets in touch with another kid before he gets shot, and then the word is out, and this apartment goes into craziness. Like, there are like 2 people who probably live in this apartment complex that are just ordinary people that want to live there. The rest of these apartments seem to be owned by thugs.
Yeah, just gangsters.
Ready to come out and fucking kill whoever is breaking in, because everything just erupts.
Yep.
You
That's great way to
kind of
put
know the crew. Here's the thing. I felt like at the beginning of the movie, so many people died. I didn't think that everybody that we had been introduced to thus far into the movie hadn't already died twice over with what seemed like how many people were getting fucking murked.
I've had to see this movie a few times to, like, understand who all the characters are, because it is, like, they don't spend a lot of time on each cop. Like, you just get a few moments with each of them, and a lot of them are murked, like, right away.
Really quick. Really, really, really fucking quick. And they get separated, and it's intense how it all gets separated. It makes sense. Like, they're bursting. Everybody's just trying to get out and get away and be a team, but have to sometimes be a half of a team, and
sometimes just a solo guy.
It's pretty. You feel very. It's kind of like the Star Wars. What's it called? The jail.
The Narkina 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's apartment complex. And you just
Yep.
want. It seems
Just want them to
impossible
get
for
out.
them to get out because they have to take the stairs.
Yep. And, you know, you find out later on that this whole mission is actually entirely off the books, unbeknownst to the sergeant and all the cops there. So no one knows that they're here. So basically no help is coming for them. Like, they have to get out themselves. Which basically means having to fucking kill everyone in the apartment.
And yeah, if they're willing to put up a fight, these cops are going to kill them to get out because they're gonna kill them. So
they don't kill willy-nilly, and they are people who help them in the apartment complex, but anyone who comes after them get fucking murked.
just get fucking wrecked, man.
Yeah,
Just,
absolutely
like,
brutalized.
So, like, if they're not dead, they're hurting.
Yeah, they're crippled. They're changed.
Yeah, and it's very well choreographed.
Yeah.
To just like get like the effects of how like 'cause people are getting stabbed left and right. It's like
throats are getting
It's not
slit.
as graphic as the movie we just watched, but it was graphic.
Yeah.
And really set me up for that.
Yeah, that was the
peak. Peak graphic, yeah. So far. Oh my god, and you're just rooting for... And there's like these subplots. They got the subplot with the brother. One of the henchmen is brothers to one of the cops.
Yep.
So there's this little fucking story.
Yep, we find out. So the main gangster who runs this apartment complex, it's a very simple premise. It's like he has two lieutenants underneath him. One who is the brains, and one who is like the brawn, who they call Mad Dog, who's like a really good kung fu master. Maybe that'll come in later. But anyways, unbeknownst to us, there's a twist that the brains, the lieutenant, is actually the brother of our main character, Rama. And Rama actually knew about his brother's life, and I guess the police had no idea of their connection between these two men. But he was kind of coming in here hoping to find his brother. And more chaos ensues.
Yep. Yeah, because there's side changes and like the brother, you almost have to be like, oh, he's betrayed these people. Why? But it's like, no, he didn't betray. He just wants to get his brother out.
Yeah.
And he's still part of this crew. But then he has to team up. Like the boss makes him. Yeah. They kind of hook the brothers back up. So they tag team, fight the fucking. I want to say the Beast, but that's the wrong movie.
Mad Dog.
The Mad Dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, that guy's fucking insane. First of all, the sergeant...
They really make you
has
believe that Sergeant could get out.
Yeah, the sergeant has a genuinely good...
He's a B storyline going on in this place. It's
yeah.
Switching in, you're like, he might be able to get out.
Yeah, he's one of the perspectives, and he has a pretty good kung fu fight that he ultimately ends up losing to Mad Dog. And dying to the one lieutenant. Which, the guy is just like this short, scrappy looking little guy, but he's absolutely a beast. He's just insane.
Kicks ass.
Yep. And that final fight between him and the two brothers, where they're both fighting him with all they have, and he's still nearly killing them.
Oh yeah, and like that's the thing. You see that guy fight, and you've been seeing the main character fight.
Yeah.
You know he's good, but you're like, is he that good?
Is the brother good?
It took him and the brother together to take that fucker down, and it was not easy.
Yeah, they almost couldn't do it.
Yeah. So that was very, like, that's the thing. The movie's got a pretty good plot,
It doesn't need a whole lot of script work.
No.
A
Just
little
needs
bit
good
short.
action choreography.
And then, the Kung Fu's amazing. The Kung Fu was like, all these scenes, people just getting fucking mowed down, and they're fighting in like cocaine like rooms. And
getting impaled on doors and getting flashlights or getting light bulbs smashed in your face.
a lot of just like you as a viewer are like, ow, oh, ow. Like, that's how these movies make you feel like, oh.
Yeah, there's several times where like people get stabbed in the knee and then they drag the knife down the entire length of their leg, like just completely severing anything in there.
Fuck. Yeah, and it's just all the movie's just all happening. It slows down for these little moments to then just like
there's little moments of
pick
brevity,
up, and you're like,
because if it was action all the way through, it would be too much. Like it needed a few quiet moments, talking moments, but for the most part, it doesn't waste any time. And get straight to people fucking killing each other.
Truly, and just you trying to figure out who, where, and where are we at right now? What's going on? Yeah. No, but I did really enjoy that. It was a pretty overall solid flick.
Yep, and I can't wait for you to watch The Raid 2. Because it's a very different movie from The Raid 1.
Oh, wow, really?
But also, I think a good movie.
Huh. Good. I mean, I love a good storyline. I love a good sequel.
Yeah, so The Raid 2, just as like a preview, it follows him, Rama, the main character, going undercover as a gangster in this one guy's crew. And it's not about like a raid, and it like goes to like a bunch of different locations, and it's just like him working for this mobster while secretly still being a cop.
And then karate ensues.
Karate ensues many, many times.
Nice. I'm interested. I certainly am. This whole genre is it's a fun watch for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great watch. People sleep on kung fu movies.
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good fun thing to marathon. If we would have had more time that day, we could have even watched something that day. But we decided to take today, and watch it prior to recording this. And do you want to hop into the final one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the final one.
Yeah. What was it called again?
The Night Comes for Us.
The Night Comes for Us. Because the night.
Yes. So this one, neither of us saw before.
Mm-hmm. I had never heard of it.
Yeah. I had actually found this movie because I looked at the main character, Rama's actor, Iko Uwais, his name is, his IMDb page, to see what other kung fu movies he was in. Mm-hmm. And this one had really good ratings, and it was on Netflix. So I figured we could just watch that one.
And we did.
We did.
And overall, I mean, I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. We made fun of it throughout of it a bit, but like that's part of it. I think that's a good part of it. It's very serious.
It's very serious,
not satirical, and it's very
pretty gnarly.
It started the way it's filmed initially. As we like opened into this movie, I was like, oh, this seems to be like the highest budget of the kung fu. This seems like a serious movie. And, it was more, but, like, it kind of took, like, the more things that happened, and it didn't feel like that as much throughout.
Right.
Certain decisions with certain moments and things, but...
I think it's a more flawed movie than The Raid, but it's still...
pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty solid, and I think it's, like, peaked its action.
It was the longest kung fu movie we watched.
Yeah.
And it felt fast, though, because it was so fast-paced the whole time, once it got moving.
And the kung fu was great. It was the most brutal out of all of it, and that's saying something because The Raid was pretty brutal.
This makes The Raid look like Looney Tunes. This movie was graphic and brutal and all up in your face from practically the beginning till the end.
Yeah, just complete body evisceration, just body horror.
Through kung fu or other
things.
Usually
multiple
other things.
Weapons are used.
Oh my god!
To put people into multiple states of destroyed.
It's funny. There's a part in this movie where a character gets shot off screen, and I thought they might have died, but then Braden thought he didn't. He ended up not dying, but like the way it was filmed, a part of me thought, even though this movie was so graphic up to this point, I was like, maybe blowing somebody's face off on screen with a gun right in front of me is too much for this movie, especially a main character. And then literally
And then
like
what
20
happens?
minutes later, it happened, and I was like, okay, it's not. It will be that movie.
Yeah.
That guy lived, and you watch a guy get his fucking face blown out.
I knew they weren't killing him off screen because that's go waste, and they were not killing that guy without having him go in a big kung fu fight.
Yeah. It's almost believable, though, because so many people did die up until that point, main character-wise, because they get fucking wrecked.
What do you think about White Boy Bobby?
I loved him.
He's my favorite character.
He's a fun character, man. I'm sad that he gets fucking gutted.
Yeah.
And I mean, he takes so many hits, though, that
He's
I was
such a
like,
tough-
if these guys... That's the thing. I was like, okay, are these guys gonna live? Because how anime are we talking?
Yeah.
How anime to how serious are we talking? He's hurt. He's hurt pretty bad.
Yeah,
But it
he was
seems
telling
not
the
to be
line.
killing
Like
him.
he survived a machine gun blast to the chest
Because
with
he had like a metal... Yeah.
a metal
Sign.
get wet floor.
Yeah, wet floor sign.
Yeah, the floor is wet signs. What are they called?
The floor is
Wet
wet.
floor signs.
Wet floor sign, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I get wet floor, you're saying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you like...
he survives it, yeah.
Got wounded.
Yeah.
Got fucked up.
He got shot on like the side, and they kind of like brushed that off.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
he's-
he can take bullets and
he's like-
kind of keep.
This guy is just
fighting.
like kind of tough. Like he's just like...
He didn't have karate really. He had some moves. He had a little training, but he was
Yeah.
mostly just a brute.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe him.
And he was
just like,
fun.
overwhelmed.
He was the character who was like, I don't know if I like the main character, but you liked him anyway.
Right.
And they must have had some kind of died for him, I guess. And they're protecting this girl.
And it's just like...
Maybe we should get into what the movie is about.
Right. Yeah, we're getting
before-
ahead of ourselves.
Before we just talk
Just
about all
talking
the
about
things
the
that are happening
overview. So
into it.
basically, another kind of simple plot premise.
Mhm.
These triads, which I think are the Chinese mafia, are wiping out this village, and the one leader is like, tasked with killing the final child.
Yep.
And
Just a little girl.
Just a little girl, and he decides not to, and he instead shoots and kills all of his men. But that means that he has to go on the run now with this little girl, and he's wounded in the process.
Yeah. And honestly, the movie doesn't even tell you in the beginning that he killed his men to save her.
Yeah.
You just know that he ends up with this girl, and he's like hiding.
And
And
he's
you find
hurt.
out later. But and the whole movie is just like, we have to protect this little girl from these people, and they're coming to kill me.
Yeah, so the triads basically wiped out this village because they were stealing from them. Like a few of the fishermen were stealing from them, so they wiped them out to make an example. And the guy lost heart at this girl who managed to survive the initial slaughter.
Yeah.
And he gives up his position, which you kind of find out more later on of that he's just like he was kind of unsatisfied with his position, and
He didn't like what he was doing.
yeah, he wanted out
Yeah.
basically. So he was going to do something like that soon, anyways.
Because these like people, they're called the 6 C's.
Yeah, these
SEAS.
enforcers.
And he's like one of the, and that's like the leaders of this triad.
Yeah, these cartels.
And he is one of these 6. So he's a big deal to just walk away.
He's a head honcho.
But he does, and they come and get him.
Yeah, and he links up with his old crew,
His old crew.
the old people
His old
he used to run
dojo.
with before he went in with the triads,
Yep.
which were like his local neighborhood crew.
His small town drug gang.
Yeah, and they turn out to be badasses. Well, most of them. The cousin kind of sucked, but
Yeah, I didn't get his point.
he killed a
at
few
all.
people. But like
Yeah.
he gets
He got killed immediately. Like, he didn't die immediately, but he got a death blow his first fight. So
He
I was
wasn't.
like,
I think.
he's done.
You kind of get that vibe from him that he's like inexperienced and just
Yeah.
not good at this kind of
But
thing.
he does get just killed. Like, he's young. He's like a kid. And
Yeah.
he gets killed off harshly and quickly.
Brutally.
Brutally.
You didn't even see all of it, but like she, like first rips his hand off.
Do you hear something?
There's a truck over here.
Oh, might be the one neighbor. I just hear. Oh, you know what? He scared off the fucking bugs, man.
Oh, the bugs got scared probably from that
Hey,
truck.
stop
that's
scaring off the bugs
on the distant
man.
highway.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and then one of his old one of his other old crew members he gets contacted by one of the Seven Seas Triad people looking for him, and they hire him.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a whole ballpark of, like, things, because it's all over the place.
Yeah, it was... There was certain, plot developments where it was just, like, it seemed like they came out of nowhere. Like, that motorcycle lady.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, the whole movie...
I don't think they ever really explained her, did they?
They didn't... I mean, she kind of explains her a little. You do, as a viewer, you just figure out, like, she doesn't like the Triad, and she's just gonna...
She also knows Kung Fu.
She's just a hunter of the
Triad.
6 Seas.
Yeah.
And it leads her to the main character, but she finds out that he's left after... And she just shows up. So there's this one part where, like, halfway through the movie, his whole crew is fucking killed off, and the Triad's coming to, like, take the girl, and this random woman just shows up and kills all of them.
Yep, randomly.
And you're like, who the fuck is that? And she's gone. And you're like, who is this? And she shows up, she fights the main character.
Never seen her before.
And then she kind of just joins up with him. And she's a badass.
Yeah. And there's a big girl boss fight.
There's a girl... This Kung Fu movie has a girl final boss for the
Which
girl character.
is incredibly brutal, by the way.
It's a fucking... Oh my god. The movie is
they
brutal all the way up
brutalize
to
each
it.
other.
And yeah, they fucking... Oh, like it never stops getting more brutal. And then each time she finishes one of them. So she finishes off the not like white lady.
The fifth one.
The fifth C. And just she has like a weapon, this lady, that like rips people's skin off.
It's like razor wire.
Yeah.
That she has a ball bearing attached to the end that she like cuts people's throats and rips people's hands off and stuff.
Yeah. And this bitch like gets her to like tie it around like a radiator or something. They kick out the window and it essentially like strangles her and like cuts her throat out while
slowly,
it does it.
Yeah, bleeds her out.
Holy fuck! It was graphic.
Yeah. And the other lady,
the other lady that survived, they continue having this epic battle because the third C was a lesbian lover to the fifth C, so she just watched her lover die.
Right.
And now she's extra fighting hard, and it's just this brutal kung fu Tom shittery that goes on.
Yeah.
Until there's this quick like knife slash, right? Oh my god, that was so like anime, like the samurai pulls the sword.
Yeah, you don't even notice it at first.
Right. Well, the main girl, our girl, like just you see a slit in her pinky, and she fucking rips it off. Like,
yeah, she fucking like, rips her finger right off. Yeah.
And then it goes to like the bad guy, villain girl, and she's like laughing like she did it, and then she goes, oh. And it cuts down to her goddamn entrails, just leaking out of her
entrails are just
body.
out.
And you're like, oh, she's dead. But then she keeps fighting just a little bit longer.
Yeah, she knows she's dead, but she wants to.
Yeah.
Make her final.
She like finishes her off.
Yeah, she gets fucking stabbed in the head.
Yep.
That's why you have to. It's like The Walking Dead. These people.
But with not zombies.
You have to stab them in the head to make sure they're dead because people get shot like
in the head
a bunch of times. People get stabbed in the head, like
head. Yeah, they're going for the brain.
Yeah,
they're shutting that system down immediately.
But yeah, everyone was hard to kill pretty much, except for the grunts. The
grunts were just there to make the
pretty deaths.
Main characters look good.
Yeah,
pretty. Just in the most gruesome way. There's a scene where the main character fights off just a room full of grunts, and he annihilates all of them.
Absolutely brutalizes them.
So
one guy gets hung up on a meat hook by his shoulder pad.
They just rips him through it.
It just rips right through, but his body still hangs on, so he's like still slightly alive.
I'd say that this movie is the closest thing to like a horror film, like graphic. Texas Chainsaw Man, but like of just kung fu movie.
Yeah,
because people get fucking eviscerated.
Genuinely, we see people explode. Like there's a few times people get absolutely just blown up, and then you see like their bits and body parts and like meat chunks.
They get like stabbed in a certain way in like their head that the blood is just shooting everywhere. And they really like the cinematography makes sure that you're like seeing the blood just spray.
Everyone's bloody all the time.
Oh my god, so graphic.
The main character never looks like he's good ever. Like he just always looks dirty and bloody.
Yeah.
He's always getting beat
From
up.
scene one, from the moment the lady's in the bathroom and he comes stumbling in, he is bloodied up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for him, it's like he goes to that place to get like whatever he's looking for, like the money or the hint or whatever, and
His money, I think.
his money
to get
and
passports.
fighting ensues, and for him, fighting never stops the whole rest of the movie.
Yep.
Nuts. Fucking nuts. There was the cop, he gets caught by the cops, or the SWAT team, or whatever.
Yeah, he fucking takes. He's
Because
handcuffed.
The whole fight in
They
the
have
car.
guns.
The people driving it continue driving it, like you're like machine gun shooting around. People are fucking being just mutilated. Oh my god. Because, like,
Yeah.
even though the bad guys can't hurt the good guys, they are doing... the bad guys are always doing a good time trying. Like,
Right.
they get some good hits in.
I just remember, like, that one guy gets, like, an AK held to his face and just, like, in the SWAT van.
Yeah, just done. Oh, that guy's dead. Yeah, and they just keep driving until they just get killed by being in the wrong spot. And then he gets out.
So, the one actor in the raid is actually in this movie.
Right.
And he is kind of an antagonist, but kind of not, like...
Right, yeah.
He's kind of not a bad guy so much, but
he is
the bad guy.
That's the thing, the characters, man, you don't know.
Yeah.
Even up till the final fight, I was like, are we supposed to want him to die or
There's
lose, or what the fuck do we want out of this fight?
Because there's like a few times in the movie where he does something to help the protagonists or the main characters, and you're like, oh,
and then he goes back and joins up with the bad guys.
Yeah, and you're like, where's this guy gonna land?
Yeah.
And it, comes out to... That was the guy you thought was shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought you guys' brains blown out. But I also was like, he also might. Like, I was 50-50.
Yeah. But eventually, there's that big climactic battle where you genuinely thought the main guy wasn't winning it.
I didn't think he was winning it, and I just thought he was gonna die. Like, I just thought, no matter, like, the way this fight plays out, first off, it's like a 10-minute long, non-stop, just those two just obliterating each other.
Yeah.
Like, just beating the absolute shit. And sometimes, like, I remember it started and I was like, oh, the main guy's clearly getting his ass beat. Like, that's why I thought, I was like, oh, he's just not putting up a fight at all. But then he does start, and it just, like, slowly builds to this crazy fight scene that, like, really, though, it ends with him not joining the mafia. You know what I mean? He tries to kill the main character to the end, and then the guy comes up and he's just like, fuck you guys. Like, and then he gets fucking...
I think we're still supposed to feel bad about him, because, like, at the ultimate...
He didn't die the villain. He could have died the villain.
Right.
They let us, like, still be like, this was a conflicted character.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And a hell of a fight. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those dudes can fight.
Yeah. Fucking arms just...
Oh my gosh, there had to have been at least half a dozen arms that just bent the wrong way in this movie.
Dude, half a half? No. Double a dozen. Like, there were so many.
I'm pretty sure I saw one arm where, like, it bent the wrong way, and then he broke it further the other way, even, like, just, like, extra fucked up his arm.
Yeah, just does not care. And if people are just getting karate beat to shit, they are getting knifed, killed, they are getting
shotgun blasted.
Somebody gets a full stick through them or some shit.
The part that we all laughed at, the gasoline can. It's the straight, like, 2-minute long scene of him slowly throwing down like, these three goons walk into this gasoline can trap that he has laid out. He very slowly shoots the can.
Yeah, it's all in slow-mo.
It's all in slow-mo, and they slowly catch on fire, and it's just these fuckers just, like spinning around.
On fire.
And he's just, like, standing there watching them burn to death.
He's not finishing them off. They're not still trying to kill him. They're just on fire, and they're like,
it's just these guys on fire. It's just, we all burst out.
I don't think it was meant to be funny.
I don't think it was
meant to be very serious, but we all laughed.
It's just the execution.
Yeah, I forgot about that until you just brought it up. So fucking funny. That's the thing. The movie had a lot of stuff to like. Though it was very serious and very heavy and very graphic, there was a lot to laugh.
It's so ridiculously graphic that it's like hilarious. Like
yeah,
in
it's
some
an elephant
aspects.
in the room if you don't talk about
Right,
it.
'cause it's just like, oh my god, like, these people are just fucking insane.
Yeah, yeah. Because one of your remarks when I was like, he could be dead, and you were just like, you think this movie's holding back on somebody getting their brains blown out? It's like, not this far, so. You're right, he probably is still alive.
And like, shortly after that, we see multiple people get their heads blown off.
That's the thing. Another thing about the headshots is like the movie almost does tell you if somebody doesn't get shot in the head, they are alive because there's multiple scenes where people get riddled with bullets, just completely eviscerated, and
Mainly
they have
the
like
good
their
guys.
moment of being like, yeah, the good guys, and they're still alive. Somebody shoots them in the head, and you're like. They should be dead already. God damn. The main antagonist, non-antagonist, that's how he goes out.
Well, I really like the fake out at the end where it shows at the like very climactic part of the finishing move of the fight where they both go to stab each other.
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah,
we see from the back of the main character's neck him get stabbed in the head.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's dead. Like, he
Yeah.
got him.
Yeah.
And then it like pans around and you see he's like stabbed through the cheek.
He like karate'd his mouth. So
Yeah, to like catch the knife and like
it stabbed him through the cheek.
stabbed
and
him through the
his
cheek
brain.
instead, and he was like holding his knife in place with his like cheek
Oh,
strength.
and like his mouth, like I think any fucking fillings on a blade.
Meanwhile,
Your life's on the line.
he went for the real kill. He got into the neck, and even then, with half of his
It has to be a headshot. It's
That
headshot
guy's-
or nothing.
half of his throat was slit, and he was just like holding it
Yeah.
and was fine.
Yeah. Honestly, with how much a headshot is needed for all of these people to die in this movie, I'm safe to say that C number 5 could still be alive. Because all she got was the choking and the like.
You're right.
She could be out there. Nobody fucking shot her in the head by the end of it.
She could survive that.
I mean, the movie basically tells you that.
Well,
but
it makes it ambiguous at the end on whether or not the main character makes it through.
it had one of those kind of endings.
One of those kind of endings where you're like pretty sure.
And it sucks because like the movie feels very like it's going to give you the definitive ending. But when it doesn't, though, you're also like, yeah, I guess it is this kind of movie.
Yeah.
Too.
But yeah, it's just basically main character driving at the main
you don't
villain.
see the main character die. You don't see the main villain. Like I wanted to see.
Yeah.
I guess you can infer that like he's gonna die from getting shot, but he could. I mean,
You can take them out.
it looks like he's like
They're
they're very cockily standing there with.
I was going to say they've shown multiple times before they have no problem just standing in front of a moving vehicle while someone's shooting at them. People will just take it. It's
He
like,
just has the willpower to keep driving. He will hit that guy.
it's like the American Revolution. Like they line up and shoot each other.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what they think it's like.
So yeah, I was fine with the ending. It
But overall, how would you rate it?
overall, how would I rate it?
Would you put it above the raid?
This movie specifically. What I put? That was kind of my thought process the whole movie because there's parts of it I certainly did like more than the raid.
Yeah.
So
I could say the
I don't
same.
know. It's like could go either way for me. There's parts I did like about it more, and there's parts about it that kind of make it a better filmed movie at least. But I don't know. The raid was really good too. It's hard to say. I'd say they're both at least if
They're pretty
1.5
similar in
swampies.
quality. Yeah.
1.5 swampies.
Yeah. Not to say one's better than the other is not saying much because I think they're both pretty
Pretty good.
solid.
One,
good
I'd say this
movies.
one that we just watched is more ridiculous than the raid.
Yeah, it gets
It's-
more gory, more brutal, more like stylistic kills.
Yeah, but it's solid. I was into it. It was like I said, it was the longest one. And kung fu movies, I like them a nice crisp hour half.
Yeah, you can
Hour
only
40.
watch like
This was a 2 hour. So when it started, I was like, oh boy, this is a big one, and it felt fine.
Yeah.
Even when we got I looked at the time for the first time. We were an hour and 5 minutes in, and I was like, oh, okay, there's less than an hour left. I feel like we've watched a good lot. Like we're pretty invested in this. So yeah, it's hard. It's neck and neck with the raid.
Yeah.
For me in that one. Really glad we watched it. Nice pick. If we ever do like a Kung Fu 2, which we should.
Yeah.
This could be like a thing.
I think it should be. I think you need to see the Raid 2.
Yeah.
Since you've seen the Raid 1, and like I said, it's very different.
Let's take some time. We'll do a few podcasts of other things in between, and then we'll pick another weekend.
Cleanse
maybe
our palate a little bit.
in the spring or summer and do another.
Because I'm sure we'll be rearing and Nancy to want to watch one after we haven't seen them in a while.
Oh, for sure. I mean, after this little batch. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to peek into some other ones. I want to...
Yeah, we can find some more good ones.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anything else to say about, what's it called again?
The Night Comes for Us.
The Night Comes for Us. I keep wanting to call it Ends Tonight, because he
It's
said
a very
that twice.
it's a very generic title. Well, so is the Raid. To be fair, the Raid Redemption.
Yeah, the Raid Redemption, and who is redeemed. Hard to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Kung Fu, man, Kung Fu. Fucking wax on, wax off, baby. All right. Well, hey, that was good.
That was good.
fun. That was fun.
We're at a crisp 2 hours and 8 minutes.
2 hours and 8 minutes. Longer than the last. Probably still one of our longer ones, but we had a lot to talk about.
It's tighter.
We talked about a lot in a tight fashion.
Yes.
This is a solid. Not to toot our own horns on our
Right,
own.
right. Well, we give ourselves praise.
Yeah,
Hold on,
you
bear
could
with
be
us.
at this point in it and be like, "This was the worst. This fucking sucked. I was not interested."
But we
at
feel proud
all."
about it.
I feel good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we nailed the intro,
Yep. Always do.
and I think we're gonna nail the outro.
Sure can. Sure can. Sure should.
Yep.
Any little just little snips of nerd before we.
Snips.
Well, anything to say? Things you're excited for coming up? Is there any new upcoming nerd shit? Something. I mean, there's a couple. I think another thing we've talked about it a lot. Kind of like how this was like a kung fu themed episode. I still do want to have a Star Wars themed where we strictly talk.
Let's do it.
Star Wars. We do got it, and I'd like to get. I want to do more things with guests,
Andor.
friend guests.
I was about to fall out of my Star Wars phase, but Andor got me back into it.
I'm so glad for you. Yeah. I guess we'll have Avatar 2 coming up here soon.
That's true.
We
I
can
hope
talk
that's
about that.
good.
Yep, me too. I think we should do an episode where we at least talk about it and probably what happens around. This is it's gonna be a movie that it'll be part of the pop culture as it we'll hear about in the news. There'll be stories that go along with the release of this movie, how much it makes, how much it doesn't make.
Whether it's a failure, whether it's successful.
Yeah, we'll know. So that's one thing then in the near coming future that we can talk about.
Yeah. If it's good or not, I hope it is.
Yeah. And when you see Black Panther 2, we'll do a Black Panther 2 walk talk. Yeah, that was a good one. Nas came here the other day, and we had brought it up because we had watched the Guardians Christmas special, which we should talk about that at some point when you watch it. But he was like, "I cried 4 times," and I was like, "Me too." So it was like, yes, people of different emotional levels are affected by how good this movie is. So I'm so excited for you to see it.
That's good.
But
I'm
we'll
excited
get
to see it too.
Yeah.
Probably just waiting for it to come out and streaming now.
Dude, you should still try to hit it up in theaters if you can. But I understand.
Alright.
Well, okay. Well, like we always say,
We
there's
love
shit in the
you.
dark, and it's getting pretty late.
It's getting pretty late.
It is getting pretty late.
We love you.
We always have and always will.
We love your mothers.
And your fathers.
And your fathers. And your sisters and brothers.
Cousins. Nephews.
Cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces.
Yep. Grandmas.
Grandmas, grandpas. Grandsons. Granddaughters.
But not your fucking step-siblings. Or your stepmothers and fathers.
No, we don't give a shit about them.
We don't care about them.
Don't tell us about them.
Evil.
Ah,
They're always evil.
biologicals only.
That could be a dating app.
Yeah,
Biologicals
biologicals
only.
That'd be a good one. I'll get on it.
Nice. Well, Brady, thanks for coming to the Zen Room, the dojo, to here tonight, and
It's been a wonderful time.
you have safe travels on your way home tonight.
I shall.
All right. Good night.
Good night.